Hello, today we're going to be looking at the core practical on rate of reaction with change of concentration of acid. So we're going to be reacting marble chips with hydrochloric acid. Now this time we're going to be keeping the size and mass of marble chips constant, okay, and we're going to change the concentration of the acid. So in this case we're going to use 0.5, 1, 1.5, 2 molar acid, and then we're going to measure the volume of gas produced. Now we're going to do that by using a measuring cylinder. We're going to do what's called collecting the gas over water. So we're going to use a flask with a delivery tube, okay, like that, which we're then going to put going into a bowl full of water. Okay, we're going to have a beehive shelf. This is called a beehive shelf if you haven't seen one before. It's a little ceramic shelf with a little notch in it so that the pipe of the delivery tube can go through the notch and up through it and sit like that. And then what we're collecting it in, which is our measuring cylinder, can happily sit on top of the tube, okay, and we can then measure in reverse how much gas is produced going down the measuring cylinder. Okay, so the first thing we need to do to set all this up is we're going to need to fill our bowl with water. Now we need to make sure that there's sufficient water in our bowl to cover the depth of the tube. So that when we put our tube in, a tiny bit more. So that when we put our tube in, we want the tip to be below the level of the water. Okay, if it's not below the level of the water, things will escape. The gas will escape, and the water will also escape from our measuring cylinder. So what we're going to do is we're going to fill our measuring cylinder with water, and what we're going to do is the gas that's generated is going to flow through our delivery tube into our measuring cylinder, okay, and displace the water. It's going to force the water out of the measuring cylinder, okay. And by doing that, okay, we will get a reading because we'll see the level of the gas on the scale on the measuring cylinder. So now we've set that bit up, now comes the marble chips. We're going to use 5 grams of marble chips, okay. So we've got a balance, 2 decimal place accurate balance. We've got a weighing boat. We're going to tear the balance so that the balance with the weighing boat on reads 0. And we're going to accurately weigh 5 grams of marble chips. Now, you might not get it exactly dead on 5, okay, because you're dealing with chips, okay. They are not obviously as easy to do as powder, okay. They're not those, you know. But I've got it to 5.02, okay, so we're dealing with little marble chips that look like that. So you may end up adding one, taking one away, swapping one for another one to get it reasonably close to what you want. We're then going to have a clean, dry conical flask, okay, that fits the bung on our delivery tube. We're going to put our 5 grams of marble chips in. We're going to measure out 50 centimetre cubed of our acid. In this case, I'm going to use 1 molar hydrochloric. You'll notice I have my safety glasses on because we are dealing with an acid. Okay, I'm going to measure out 50 centimetre cubed, making sure that I do it accurately. Okay, if you're doing this, you may wish to use a pipette okay, so that you can add it drop by drop at the end, so that you can make sure that the meniscus or the level is exactly on the 50 centimetre cubed. Okay, when I've done this, okay, it comes to the bit when you need many hands. If you have a partner, then one of you can manage the clock while the other one does the fiddly bit. Okay, but what we're going to do is, now we've got the acid, we're going to put the acid into the flask, connect the flask by putting the bung in it, and then we're going to start the stop clock. Now, it's important that when we put the bung into the flask, we do this so that it seals, but we do it in we do it gently enough that it doesn't break the glass. If you're too forceful pushing the bung into the glass flask, it will break the neck of the flask, and we don't want that. So, we're ready with our acid, we've got our stop clock ready. Okay, we know that our measuring cylinder is completely filled with water and none of it's escaped. Our tube is connected up and underneath our beehive shelf and running into our measuring cylinder. So acid in, okay, straight away connect up, and as we connect up we start our stopwatch. Now we're going to do this and we're going to measure how much gas is produced at the minute mark. Okay, now we're starting to see already the odd little bubble coming through. Okay, I don't know if you can see them on the camera. Okay, but there are some bubbles coming through. Okay, so after 30 seconds or so, we're already at the 10 mil mark. Okay, and we're literally measuring that amount of gas produced. Okay, so we can say after a minute we have 14 mil of gas produced. We can leave that to run for another minute and see how much more gas is produced. What we would then do is we would do exactly the same as we have here, but with a different concentration of acid. So we can repeat this experiment and then we can do it with a different acid. But we would keep everything else the same. We're going to use the same size and mass of marble chips. We're going to use the same equipment, but the only thing we're going to change is the concentration of acid. Now we're getting near on the 2 minute mark. So coming up on 2 minutes, and we have just got to the 20 centimetre cubed mark. So we've produced 20 centimetre cubed of gas in 2 minutes with 5 grams of marble chips and 1 molar acid. Okay, and then if you were to do this, you could then look and predict what you would expect to happen if you were using 2 molar acid instead of 1, or 0.5 molar acid instead of 1. Okay, when we finish with our reaction, okay, we're going to very carefully remove the bung from our flask. Okay, the acid is fine to go down the sink, but we don't want the marble chips down the sink, so we have a sieve. We're going to pour the solution through the sieve, okay, and then we can run the remaining acid down the sink with some water, okay, and we don't block the sink with our marble chips. Okay, to reset it, you're literally taking this out, letting the water out, you're going to fill it up again. You're going to put your hand over and put it back in, and put it just over the tube exactly as we did the first time. Weigh out more marble chips, measure out your acid, and just repeat the experiment again. Alright, thank you very much.